Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I want to start out by thanking state employees who are out on the roads this morning, clearing roads and responding to the few incidents we've had. Everybody is working very hard to keep the citizens of New Hampshire safe. I also want to thank the citizens of New Hampshire and the businesses of New Hampshire, because by and large people are staying off the roads. As you all know, I declared a state of emergency yesterday because of the severity of this storm. We have a lot of snow falling. We have very high winds, which makes visibility on our roadways a particular challenge. In some places we have snow bands where we're getting reports of accumulations of 4 inches an hour, which is an extraordinarily high rate of snowfall, and it makes it very difficult for our crews to keep up with. So I continue to ask people to stay off the roads. If you do decide you have to go out, which you really shouldn't do unless you are essential to storm response as a state employee, or you're perhaps a health worker who needs to take care of people in a health facility. But if you do go out on the roads today, please be prepared to be stranded or perhaps go off the road and have to wait for assistance. So make sure you have supplies to stay warm and safe in your cars if that happens. Again, we are in a state of emergency because of the severity of this snow. Visibility is extraordinarily tough, especially in the southern part of the state. For people in the central and northern parts of the state, the storm is still moving up. So please don't get lulled into a false sense of security here. This still is a significant storm, even in the central and northern parts of New Hampshire as well. I again thank Granite Staters for their common sense and cooperation, because by and large people have stayed off the roads. That's been of significant assistance to our DOT and our law enforcement personnel. But I am going to turn over the podium now to Bill Janelle from DOT so he can talk to you all about what the challenges are out there, and then we'll hear from Colonel Quinn as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. We've got all of our crews out, all of our contractors out as well. The challenge is the intensity of this storm. It's coming down much quicker than we can get it off the road. So in some areas, particularly in the southeastern corner of the state, people are going to see a lot more accumulation on the road, and it's been very helpful that people have stayed home. And that's what we want to stress. Please don't go out on the roads unless you absolutely have to. That's the best thing that folks can do to help us get this cleaned up and make the roads passable after the storm goes. But we're doing our best to keep up, but with the intensity of the snow that we're getting, it's very difficult. But we'll get through it. Thank you.
Thank you. And as the Governor stated, the message from the New Hampshire State Police is, unless it's an emergency, to please stay off the highways. Thankfully, we have had no injuries, but in the past hour, we've had approximately 13 vehicles that have gone off of the road. They are clearly traveling too fast for the conditions existing. So our message is, even though you may think it's subsiding, please stay off the roads. It is dangerous, and it will make everybody's job easier. Thank you.
Any questions?
Hey, Governor, you indicated that if anyone does head out on the roadways, prepare to get stranded at one point. Why not take the step that other states have taken to limit officially the travel to emergency vehicles?
Granite Staters exhibit and practice common sense, and I think it's really important that we continue to ask people to make their own determinations, especially because enforcing a travel ban can be its own distraction and its own drain of resources. That being said, for all the business owners out there who have perhaps told employees that you want them to come in, I hope you will reevaluate that position. We've closed state government, which is a highly unusual step for us to do. Only personnel who are essential to storm response, to law enforcement, and to taking care of people in our health facilities are being called in, and I would expect, as many private employers have done in this storm, that private businesses take the same steps. Many private businesses have closed, and we'd ask them to continue to do that, because as we see, people who are venturing out in the roads are having a high rate of accidents or going off the roads. It's really not safe for travel.
I know power outages haven't been an issue yet, but is that an area we're keeping an eye on going ahead?
Sure, that's part of the issue with high winds. Remember that the Thanksgiving storm had very wet, heavy snow. That weakens our trees, and what's unpredictable here is we don't know with that weakened state whether the high winds will really create snapped limbs and debris that can travel. We are getting live reports from the seacoast that the winds are very, very high. Visibility is just about non-existent, and we're seeing a little bit of flooding too. So all in all, people should think about the fact that it's not just the snow here, it's the wind and cold that is adding to the danger of this storm. And we, again, are very grateful to Granite Staters for exhibiting the common sense they have. We'd also ask everybody to check in on your friends and neighbors, especially the ones close by, and especially those friends and neighbors who are elderly or who experience disabilities.
It's still early in the morning, so looking ahead to the rest of the day, where are you allocating resources and what are the biggest concerns looking forward?
Well, we're certainly focusing on safety on the roads, so DOT is out in full force. We expect that the snowfall will taper off over time throughout the day, but again, we're seeing some snow bands. It's not an entirely predictable storm, and then the winds are still going to be up even as the snowfall stops, so that's going to create drifting and blowing and visibility concerns as well. So we will be monitoring things closely. We'll be talking with our education officials throughout the state mid-afternoon to help them make decisions about schools tomorrow. It's just a storm we're going to have to monitor and watch closely, and we will stay in constant communication with local officials as well as the citizens of New Hampshire.
Governor, you pointed out an enormous amount of snow has fallen on the state of New Hampshire. What would your message be moving forward when the snow does stop falling and the state goes into the recovery mode? Because obviously there's going to be a lot of cleanup still.
There's certainly going to be a lot of cleanup, but again, we know that that's something we know how to do in the Granite State. The good news is that the ski areas should be up and running pretty quickly, and I hope everybody throughout New England will travel safely when declaration of emergency is removed and everything is safe again, and come enjoy our mountains.
And I imagine obviously the situation still remains serious, but so far so good?
Yeah, so far so good, but as you heard from the Colonel and from Bill Janelle from DOT, travel is really, really dicey out there, and even the most experienced Granite State drivers are having difficulty. So please stay home. If you feel you must go out, perhaps because you have a job that is essential to health and safety, please heed the speed limits that the state police have listed for the roadways. It's really important. Thank you.
Governor, thanks very much. Governor Maggie Hassan leaving the podium from the Emergency Operations Center here in Concord. The message continues to be, if you don't need to be on the roads, don't be on the roads. If you're opening a business and it is non-essential, don't call your employees in. That remains the trouble spot right now. The conditions remain very poor. The intensity of the snow remains very high, and obviously public safety is paramount. Things are going pretty well, as you heard from the governor. Power outages are limited, but for now, guys, the message continues to be, stay where you are. Stay off the roads especially. We've had a number of spin-outs and accidents increase over the course of the last couple of hours from what we understand. Fortunately, no major injuries have been reported, so that's very good news. But this is a storm that is not over. Back to you.